Good morning. Today is March 13th. It is about 8:30. Let's take a look at news for today. See what we have coming out. I think this week we have the Fed making a rate decision on Monday. So could be some fairly calm trading until then while we wait for that. This morning we got nothing. We have 10 o'clock. This should not have any effect on our trading today. Let's just take a look ahead for tomorrow. We have a couple at 8:30 again. So the PPI does generally tend to get a reaction, but this will be before we start trading, so that should be okay. And then Wednesday we have the 2:30 Fed. So Wednesday is going to be interesting. We have a lot of numbers coming out at 8:30. Housing at 10, inventories at 10:30. I'm going to try to be in front of the screen for Wednesday, but that I don't know how much is going to happen prior to the Fed release. But Wednesday just typically with the inventories we tend to try to be careful, but we'll see what happens. All right, so let's take a look at getting our levels in place. So let's bring over slide down value area low to go to Friday's value area low, VPOC to Friday's VPOC, and value area high to Friday's value area high. Overnight VPOC to overnight VPOC. And let's find overnight high and overnight low. Okay, so that's going to put all our levels where we need them to be. Let's go over to the homework chart real quick while we're here. Let's note that we opened below yesterday's close, below Friday's close. Traded all the way down to what is now overnight low, came all the way back up to yesterday's VPOC, and have kind of settled in between. So inventory certainly is net short, but we've kind of closed that gap quite a bit. We are sitting at the low from Friday, so we're trading at the very border of having a gap down. So let's go take a look at the hourly chart. Okay. So first thing we're going to check for, were there any levels that we broke through that we feel, oh, I'm not sure what just happened there. Sorry. Not sure what's going on here. Okay. Let's see if there are any levels that we broke through that we feel need to be removed from the chart. So we opened, we came down, tested this resistance level. So this is going to stay. We're going to get rid of this level here since we had come below it, we traded below it, we closed below it, we came back above it, traded above it, closed above it, came back below it, traded below, closed below it. So that level is going to no longer be valid for us. Okay. Once again, we're not able to add the microcomposite VPOC because we are well outside of that range there. We did have a day of some still overall trending down. I mean, you can see where we opened on Friday and immediately pushed down, and we just kind of held down towards the bottom. No real recovery at any point throughout the day. So let's take a look at where we are and where we think we might be going. We are currently trading 48.34. So let's give ourselves a mark there. Okay, right at overnight VPOC pretty much. So we're starting to get back. I started talking about last week how as we get further down into these areas here, we run the potential of some balancing, some congestion, because we see that there's a lot of former microcomposite VPOCs down here, um, which means that when we were last in this price area, that all these levels acted as those high volume areas. So, and again, you could see here how we have general low volume in relation to here. Even the low volume node in here is bigger than almost any of the high volume nodes in here. So we would expect if we can push down further, that we would expect to get some balancing down here. So all right, so anyhow, let's start with some hypotheses for this morning. Again, like we talked about the other day, where I'm treating almost this entire thing here as a distribution. I probably can even come up further, but we're gonna start with an opening push towards overnight low, hold, make our way back up, kind of get through this area here that doesn't have many levels in it, get to, yes, the Friday's value area high, maybe chop here a touch, try to get above it into the upper end, coming up towards this swing here, anywhere in this level. We're going to call this hypo 1, and we're going to print that. Okay. Hypo 2. Let's bear in mind we're opening inside Friday's value, inside Friday's range. I'm not sure why it looked like it said we were opening by yesterday's low. Friday's low is down here, so that is inaccurate. Okay. So that's actually going to be our second hypothesis. Is going to be instead of a push to overnight low, instead of a push to overnight low, a push towards overnight VPOC and Friday's low with a hold would lead right back to what we were just drawing out. Come up, chop, get to value area high, break, and get in towards these swings. So the difference here is how far we push at the open. That's going to be expectation number 2. Expectation number 3, we're going to do at least 2 more. Expectation number 3 is going to be an open break below VPOC, overnight VPOC, and Friday's low. Retest it to draw it nicer. What I would really like to see is a break below, chop, then retest it, giving us an opportunity to get short in this prior consolidation, ultimately pushing down to test overnight low and get into some of these micro composites down here, chop around again, maybe a bounce back up towards former VPOC, this swing, another push down, and ultimately see if we can't test this low volume node, this far micro composite VPOC, but get us down to that 4750 area. This is going to be hypo 3. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I printed hypo. So, all right. So now some other hypos. Let's say we open, move up, chop, get towards value area high, fail, start making our way back down, look to test low from Friday, and see, if that holds. At that point, we're right back to the scenario as to which side's going to break. And when they do, what we're looking for on the top side at the far end, for me, I'm looking towards these 3 levels. At the bottom side, at the far end, for me, I'm looking towards 4750. Okay, so that's going to be that actually could be hypo 4 and 5. 4 and 5. All right, but the key is We're opening inside value, so we're going to expect to test either end of the value area, see if that offers any support or resistance. Excuse me. Bottom end of the value area also coincides right next to overnight VPOC and Friday's low. So we have a few levels bunching together there on the upper end of value from Friday. That coincides with the overnight high. So we have a couple of levels converging there. So we're going to see which one of those ultimately break first, and then we're going to try to react to it accordingly. All right, that's what we got for oil. What time we have? 8:42. We got plenty of time. Let's see if we can't do a quick review of the S&P. It's been a while since I've really had any chance to really take a look at the chart and kind of get a feel for what it's been doing. So we'll start by adjusting our levels from Friday. Very low. VPOC, actually this value area low should be Friday's trading, not for the overnight. My mistake. Okay. Overnight VPOC. Overnight high. And overnight low. Okay. Just take a quick peek here. So Friday. Oh, I see. I'm not showing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's the high from Friday. There's the low from Friday. And the close is right in here for Friday. Okay, so we're very neutral overnight as far as inventory goes. We're skewed towards the upside right now as far as price is concerned, but we're pretty close to where we closed on Friday. Didn't have all that much of a range overnight here. We're currently trading at 69 3/4. Let's bring in our hourly chart. Again, let's stretch this out. We have made our way back down into this balance. Real steady decline after the gap up, creating all-time high just under 2,400. Surprising that it would stop below there. 2,400 is, round numbers. Round numbers tend to get people excited. So a little surprising that we stopped short by a couple ticks like that. What is that? 9 ticks. Okay, so let's take a look at what we can be envisioning for today. So it's a decent push up from the low here, 57.25. Look how that swing. Look how this previous swing held. Wait a minute. No. No. I don't think we're up. Yeah, this chart is not up to date. I knew that day looked kind of familiar. Let's give this a minute to reload. Just waiting. Sorry for the silence. Okay. Oh, almost. Just waiting for the volume profile to load. Still got a good 14 minutes left. That's good. Okay. So, as we see, we were looking at this day here. So we've come back into balance. We pushed down to test the lower part of the value of the former microcomposite, and now we gapped up on Friday, came back down towards that bounce, once again came to retest microcomposite VPOC, then ultimately closed up at the upper end of the former microcomposite. Can't really draw a new microcomposite yet. It looks like if we can turn back down, if we can kind of get in here and start creating this type of range, then we should be able to draw a microcomposite and add some detail to it. But for now, actually, you know what? I'm going to do that. For now, I'm going to take. I'm going to start with this day here, and I'm going to expand into Friday's trading. No reason I shouldn't have that. So we're going to draw in the microcomposite VPOC from the microcomposite we just added on. So we have that level marked off on the chart. Okay. Let's take a look if there were any levels on Friday that we traded and broke and decide no longer need to be here. Actually, I don't think so. It looks like we traded through these, but never kind of tested them from the opposite sides. So we're going to leave these on here for now, this one and this one. We're also going to mark off low from Friday and high from Friday. Okay. So let's see what we're thinking. Let's see what we're thinking as far as some hypotheses. Okay, so hypo 1 is going to be, so we were trading at 69.75. Let's see if we're still around there. 69.25. Okay. So we're going to look at hypo 1. Oh, excuse me. Hypo 1 to open and chop around Friday's VPOC, overnight VPOC, microcomposite VPOC. We're going to look for a little bit of a choppy open right around here. From here, we're going to look to see if we can't get some support, make a move up to test overnight high, ultimately break to get towards high of Friday, upwards towards the high of this volume profile. And since I see that this is the high of the volume profile, that tells me this level is off by a couple of ticks. So let's get that right. Okay. If when we get up to here, we can get some resistance with some negative divergence, we would look for move down. However, I think more likely what's going to happen is if we get up to here, this naked VPOC will act as a magnet and bring us into this area, this swing level, and that's more likely where I think we're going to get our resistance point. So we're going to use that as hypo 1. Print that. So hypo 2, same thing. This idea of chop around these VPOCs will remain the same. In this case, we see if they will break, get a pullback up into it, into the consolidation that the chop would have created, and then ultimately look for a push down. And if we can get below overnight low, I believe we're in for a pretty smooth ride down to this former microcomposite VPOC and this swing here. So that's going to be hypo 2. Tell you the truth, there's not many others that I'd be looking to draw today. Basic rule for me today is I'm looking up here as an extreme, I'm looking down here as an extreme, and I'm expecting anytime we get near these VPOCs that we're going to chop around. So that's pretty much it. I certainly would be watching overnight low, see if we get some positive divergence there. But this is pretty much it for the S&P. Now we have we have a fair amount of time, I think, still before the open. Let me get this out the way. 9 minutes. I'm going to pause the video, and I'll come back on as we get closer towards the open. Okay, if you guys have any questions, if you're on the team viewer, feel free to ask. That's still going to be running, but I'm just going to. All right, just about a minute to the open. Figured I'll get us back live. Okay, so let's remember we talked about the areas that we're going to be watching for to the downside on oil. 47.50 as one of our extremes, up towards 50.15 as the other. So opening right at overnight VPOC. Pushing down towards this swing here. There's a VPOC down there, a naked VPOC at that 48.12 area. Quick turnaround here. Push down, quick turn back up. Testing the value area high from Friday. I'm sorry, that's value area low from Friday. So trying to get back into Friday's value area. You see Friday's VPOC right here. Okay. So as expected, we're gonna get some chop here around overnight VPOC. Came from beneath the test value area low. Still kind of seeing resistance here at low from Friday, so we need to watch that. We need to see if we want to start pushing away again and get further into the overall downtrend that we've been in. strong negative divergence from the overnight high. Well, you can't really call it negative divergence. We haven't tested. Never mind. I take back what I said. No negative divergence. We really just kind of got to wait and see how this plays out. Remember, again, with Fed meeting on Wednesday, announcing rate decisions, will not be surprised to see some calm trading today and tomorrow, even Wednesday in the early part of the day. We know we'll get activity around the inventories report, but other than that, would not be surprised to see some balancing. Excuse me. See some selling right off the bat here, right at the open. Some buying as well, but some sellers right at the open. Some sellers on the pullback. Once again, let's note how thin these levels are. You know, you're under 40 contracts on many of these levels on the inside, on the depth of market. So we saw these levels upwards of 100 per level, but now we see how thin it's gotten. So we have to kind of pay attention to that. If I had to guess, and I don't, not in any way saying that there's any data to go off of this. If I had to guess, I would say that we're gonna maybe look to try to balance out. I wouldn't be surprised to see one more push towards overnight low here. See if that can hold, and then ultimately kind of start getting back in, correcting some of that large move down that we had, get us back towards 50. But all of that's irrelevant. I mean, we'll trade what we see, and we'll do our best not to get into any bad trades because of preconceived notions. We could see how we're really staying right near Friday's low. It's we're kind of testing, kind of see if we can't get back into Friday's range and start trading up towards Friday's VPOC. if we continue to stay down here, we get a little bit of a move down with a pullback, I'd be potentially looking for a short. Current low of day, 48.19. Not really far enough for us to try to take a short from where we are right now. Don't have the 10 ticks. Really just kind of stuck here. Some buying there. Or I should say one large buyer. Here's a bid. 107 contracts on the bid down here at 48.28. Let's see what happens. If it actually gets there, we'll see if they stay or lighten up, and they're kind of staying right around there. Contracts are coming and going without us actually trading down at that price. Looks like they just moved their pricing up here. We kind of saw that one coming. We saw them bringing up that bid. We just saw it again. 107 just came in and left. We do now have negative divergence off of this last swing high overnight. On the 610 and 987. We do not have any on the 1597. Very, very minor, if any. So we've gotten above low from Friday. Now let's see if we can get a pullback and give us maybe a nice entry here for a long. There's a large offer here, 143 contracts just disappeared. I didn't see if it looked like if it was traded or if it just moved away. I wasn't really, I wasn't paying attention to that. I just noticed the offer, and as I started talking about it, it went away. So I'm not sure how it went away. Just gotta be patient. Looks like we're in a 24 tick range right now from low to high. Yep, 19 to 43. So we have a 24 tick range, not a huge range. It does give us the opportunity to potentially try to trade from the middle if we see a setup that we like, because we would have our 10 tick profit target from mid to high or mid to low. Right now, I'd be more interested on this pullback to the middle. I'm watching to see for a potential long opportunity. Overnight VPOC just held at the 34. Again, didn't really give us a good chance to get in because it's only 9 ticks away from the current high. You can see we've yet to test close from Friday. So we've gotten into Friday's range. We've yet to get up to unchanged. We have a huge offer, or at least last time we saw it, there was a huge offer of 652 up there. And actually, if I remember right, when we looked on Friday, we saw that these numbers actually change even when we're more than 10 ticks away from them. Yeah, they just changed 667. All right, so there's a push down to the middle of the day. Really don't want to get ahead of myself and pull a trade here. Big bid just stepped up again. Last time we saw that happen, we saw them drive price a little. Let's see what happens when they touch it right there. So a couple contracts went away, but it's back up to 110. Gone. So there was all those contracts were eaten up. Sellers came in to hit those bids, but it wasn't able to move price down. And that actually would be considered a sign of strength here. Again, it's microscopic because it's happening on the the depth of market and the order flow. That is a very microscopic view. Oh, there you go. Okay, we've now come to get towards Friday's close. That stayed there. When we got up here, that 637 stayed. Now a large offer just came in here, and that's gone, and that got traded. We could see, you know, one trade alone, or a couple large trades here put together 70 contracts. Big bids just stepped up here, but we got a lot. Now we have stacked offers here, and let's see, this was a huge 150 contracts, another large buy. So this offer's for real. I mean, they're willing to actually trade out 600 and some odd contracts here. It looks like people are willing to buy them. Wow. Let's see if we can't buy a pullback here. High day is 48. What I'm looking for is enough of a push down to get some of these people out of their trades. That sharp push down would give me an excuse to take on a long. We might not get it. You know, we might see buying continue to step in and break through this high offer size here. We might see buying step through and get rid of these other 236 contracts and buy them up. But really, what I'd love to see is a little bit of selling pressure, scare some of these people out, because that's easily enough to push a couple of you know, get a nice little spike down. I'm also going to start watching for a repeat of what we saw on the order flow, meaning large bid coming up with about 109, 110 contracts. I think if I see that, I'm going to jump on board. We've seen it twice, so we've seen both times that was a buyer that was legitimate, and they ultimately pushed price up twice now. So let's see if we can't find a situation where that happens again. Well, right now, buyers are stepping in. So ideal setup for me is going to be a push back down towards this area here, middle of the day, Friday low. Big offers just came in there. I'm taking one here. I plan on scaling, potentially even adding more, not as from a scaling perspective, just from if I see some order flow turn in my favor here. Right now, I just saw another big offer come down. They got rid of that. They're just stepping in, not with size. We're not yet seeing that one, you know, 105, 110 contract bid that we've seen come in a couple of times that ultimately push price up. We could see this offer, this 227 contracts, has not brought their price down. They have remained there, but they've already gone through 400 of them. So I'm still potentially looking to see that drive down of some of these long trades getting liquidated, and I would want to add on to my trade there. But we've seen this 4836 has held now a support a couple of times. We've seen buyers refresh. We've seen the bid refresh there a few times, which is why I got into this long here, only, you know, a couple ticks away from there. And this 4840 is the offer that has been refreshing. So we need to see those offers lift up and have the bids step into there. And we just saw those offers step back in. So very microscopically, it's 4836 to 4839, 4840. There's another large offer there. See, again, the expected result when you see large offers come in, the expected result is that price moves down. When that's not happening, that is actually a sign of strength. So see, there again, you have these large offers, but it's not driving price down. Big buy right there. Right there again, those offers stepped in. Bids just came up there, 37. Offers are now gone from 38, 39. At least the volume of offers, the contracts are now showing lower. It's no longer 100 and some odd and 90. Now they're only showing 49 and 12. That doesn't mean that there isn't more there. Really want to see bids get up to that 39 and 40. I want to see these go away from being offers and turn into bids and then stay that way. But right now, the sellers are definitely holding that 39.40 level. There we go, big bid. Yeah, they swallowed that right up. He's holding though. You still see 9 on the bid. They just added more. Those sellers are really holding it right here. I'm sorry to talk about the order flow, and I'm not necessarily making a decision based on it, but again, when I have the opportunity to describe it as to what's happening, hopefully that helps you guys at least see it. Sellers stepping in again. Here's where the buyers had held before. And remember, I'm going to add on right here. I am looking for that one flush down, where I believe some of these people are being driven out of their trades, giving us a trap that will hopefully ultimately give us a push back to the upside. Okay, here's my third entry. Hey, give that back. So again, most likely on a live platform, most likely I'm in my third contract. We actually reacted to that very quickly. But demo, they do try to make it tougher. They don't want you to get any obviously inaccurate fills. You know, they want it to be a little bit more difficult for you. So that's completely fine with me. Okay, so now what we need to see, of course, is we need to see the buyers start stepping in, and they look like they're trying to hold their ground here, but sellers are not lifting. They're not letting the offers get up. Once we get back up to that 38, 39, really 39.40, that's where we've seen the resistance before. Here again, we're back at this 39.40. We need to see 39 go bid and stay bid, but 39.40 has been the absolute line in the sand from an order flow perspective. Bids again. I mean, they're stepping in here. They're holding, but this is where it needs to get follow through. We need the bids to come up and follow through. We need the sellers to, you know, run out of stuff to sell. Start feeling as if they're, you know, we're too low now, that they want to get a higher price for the contracts that they have to sell. No, that's not what's happening here. I'm gonna pull that last trade there. I would have liked it when I got it on that little spike down. I don't necessarily know that I would like it now. Here we go. Let's get up through 40. Come on, buyers, get in here. So one of my biggest problems now is that we have negative divergence coming up here. So that's why you see my offer here, my order in here to sell at a 10-tick profit target, is because we have this strong negative divergence. Okay. So at this point, what I'm doing is looking to move my stop to break even. It's kind of giving me a little trouble here. Okay. Moving my stop to break even +1. It's not the greatest area to put my stop, but I really don't like this negative divergence up here. I'm almost more interested potentially in closing my trade out. I am watching order flow right now. You know, I'm willing to close my trade out up a few ticks or break even, and if it ends up turning up, it's just not what it looks like is going to happen right now. So I'll leave this on here. I'll leave this on here with the potential of, hey, listen, you know what? I got my 10 ticks on my first contract. There is the chance that it bucks the trend of the BBs. BBs definitely have negative divergence. But I'm really watching this order flow here to potentially get out of this trade and maybe even reverse it to the downside, reverse it into a short. But let's see what happens. We've come awfully close to touching Friday's VPOC, but we haven't. We're also right near overnight high, so we have a couple of levels here that I think we can get to. But first things first, you know, we need to get up above this large offer here. Some big bids just stepped in. We saw that. We've seen that push a few times. A couple of contracts just disappeared. There they come up again. Okay, we're gonna get our push here. It looks like. Now the question is will we break through that 238? Will we break through those 238 contracts up there at the high of day at 48.48? So it's a shame I didn't get my third contract on this trade. We would have been closing out a second one here, but that's okay. We've added some okay, here we go. We've added some size there at 48.48. It's up to 243. Nowhere near the 600 that we saw. Let's see if we can't get some buying pushed right through there. So the 610 and 987 do have divergence, as slight as it may be on the 987. There is divergence. The 1597 does not. And we just ate into, okay, they put back on contracts there. It's those are real. We've seen us get up there and trade. Now I don't know about the levels above it yet. We'd have to get to them to see if those levels are real. Buyers are still refreshing here on the bid, but they are getting hit. Big trade just went off there on the offer. Looks like a good 15 tick trade. 15 contract trade, sorry. Okay, bids are they're still firming up here. But they are being hit. They're adding on to the bid. We see trading happening on the bid, and the bids are staying. So now let's see if we can't see some buyers step in and take these offers. We're below 200 contracts at the high of day. I mean, you can literally see the indecisiveness right now as to who's going to step in, who's going to be the one to take the big risk here. The buyers to try to get through this high day, or the sellers to try to push back. We just added contracts there at the high day. Okay, the big buys coming right into yesterday's VPOC. And bids continue to step up here. If we just had, yep, equities just opened. That is amazing. You know, all the contracts that came in there to buy. Higher day for the most part held. You know, what do we add? Maybe a tick to it. Yep, went up to 49. So we got to be careful. We have a lot of people long right now, and a push down could get accelerated by all those people having to get out of their positions. Big contracts. I'm closing this here. I'll take 6 ticks on the second contract. Now I am watching. I'm not watching to get back into a long just yet, but I am watching if we get a pullback. We definitely saw sellers obviously at the high hold their ground, even though we had some aggressive buying, and we just saw sellers come down. We just saw large contracts come down on the offer, which is what caused me to close my trade. S&P coming up the test. Remember, we had talked about the two extremes on the S&P for us. So, geez, I don't even remember to tell you the truth. Top side was I think right around 79. Yeah, top side was here. This is kind of what we were looking at as the top side of the extreme, and then the bottom side we were looking at the about 59, right around low of day on Friday. So a lot of stuff could happen in between there, but let's see. Let's go back to oil here. Did have a decent chance to reverse our trade. This push happened quickly, no doubt, when we actually pushed, but we were up in this area for a while. You did have the chance if you wanted to close and reverse up here. Now it's a question of what's going to happen when we get to a VWAP in the middle of the day. So we just got to VWAP. VWAP held so far. First time in a while we've seen large bids and large offers near each other. Now the offer is at the current price, which makes it more valid, but that just got swallowed up. Making another push here at the high. Gotta be careful with the short here. I do like how it's setting up, but these pushes, this one came down to 35, so we'd have about 10 ticks to test this low. So I gotta be real careful with taking a short here. Looks like we should have left our trade on. But that's okay. We just saw a big bid, and I'm guessing that big bid turned into a real order to buy there. No negative divergence up here. We see another large offer. See another large offer sitting up here. Okay, pull back down. Let's see if we can't get the. I'm gonna look here for a long down here by VWAP. Would be willing to scale here. Right, that's what you bid. So I'd be willing to take more here. That's Wednesday at like 2 something. So watching order flow again, buyers do seem to be stepping up here. They're holding it down though, so we can see the bids coming in, right? We just saw the bid add one tick below us. Not really scaring anybody away just yet. Bids refreshing there, but so are the sellers. Want to see these sellers lift up. Let the bid come up to 47, 40 or 47. Sellers are still refreshing here. There we go. Bids are up. Come on. There we go. Bids are up and they're adding size. Nope. We saw again a couple ticks came down and some actually fairly aggressive buying. There we go. Do have negative divergence up here. This overnight high is kind of bothering me. I've only got the one contract. I got my stop at break even. I'm kind of okay with that right now. You see a lot of jostling happening here. A lot of numbers were just flying around on bid and offer. Again, large offer up here at 70. We're going to front run it by a bit. Now, I am still watching order flow with the potential of closing this trade where it's at, not necessarily with the anticipation of it making its move up to where I just put in a proper target, which I pulled out because I want to put it in more properly. Big sellers just came in there. large contracts and it pushed price down. But again, every decent push down is being responded by buyers. Oh, nice. This 100 and some odd contracts came in at the current bid. Now let's see if we can't see this hold and start pushing again. Give us another push like we just had to get us to the current high of day. God bless you. We just saw it again. We just saw a bid come in. I'm going to close this here. Whatever that was, 10, 11, 12 ticks. I actually did not see what the... I'm closing it here because I don't like a negative divergence on the 610 to 987. Overnight high being a level that's starting to show some resistance. We see how many times we've bumped up against it. I believe right now that high of day has a strong chance of holding because of the negative divergence. So my risk versus reward there was too great for me. So with the fact I only have one contract, I guess you could have been more aggressive, but that's okay. So we closed out. Oh, big buy just came back in. And look, you are at any point in a case like this, let's just say you're watching, you close your trade and you say, wait a minute, the stuff I was watching for, the bullish signs I was watching for I'm back in. Even if it costs you a couple ticks to get back in the trade, you are absolutely, it's absolutely okay to do that. Big offer just came in here. I am taking 3 shorts with a very, very tight stop if they get filled. We've seen sellers now step in very aggressively twice. What's going on here? Very aggressively twice as we've come up to test a high a day. We've seen large offers come in. It just got flipped. Okay, there we go. That's all right. Tight stop. I have no problem with that. We just saw that get flipped. Oh man, I might have gotten stopped out to the tick here, and this is going to turn its way down. That's okay. Does not seem to be the case right now. So you can see we've lost. Unfortunately, the way this candle pushed. Unfortunately, that took away our negative divergence. Had we known that was coming, we would have stayed in our long. But that candle really threw off these BBs, or I just didn't notice it. That's also a possibility. So we're going to come up and see how we react to this 48.70, this large offer. Ah, darn it. Fudge that one up. Again, buyers really stepping in here. Take a peek real quick at the S&P, see what it's been doing. It's making its way down now towards Friday's VPOC. We're expecting some chop if it gets down into these VPOCs here. Friday's VPOC, former microcomposite VPOC, overnight VPOC. A lot of buying starting to happen up here. Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, I could see how on this candle it looked like negative divergence, but this one really shadowed. Yeah, I guess that was silly. You can see the BBs on the S&P from the current open to now The BBs are pretty well lined up with price, except for the 4181. The 4181 is showing more strength in the BBs than in the price here. You can see the BBs have not pulled back like the price has. Been in a strong uptrend all morning today on oil. You know, that short actually I should that's really the BBs that threw me off. Want to watch now this overnight high as a potential long here. Buyers just stepped in again. We've seen many. So we're not looking for a short up here. We're kind of in no man's land. Overnight high coincides with value area high from Friday, which is 49.12. So really got to be careful to look for any shorts up here. It looks like if we break, it looks like we got a lot of room to go. Buyers stepping in here again. There you go. That was a large offer coming in at current price. Let's see if this can't give us enough of a push down. Maybe look for another long opportunity here. Here we are at overnight high. Still see some good selling pressure here on oil at the overnight high. Looks like we're going to try to get through it. Let's see what happens. Nice big offer just stepped in there. It's not at the current price, but it was one tick away. Another big offer just stepped in there. That was at the current price. Gonna take some longs here. And again, this is going to be a tight stop trade. I'd like to be below VWAP, which I can be. Not the best entry point. I really would have liked my stop even below middle of day. but it just looked like some buyers were starting to step in again, although that might have just changed here. Looked like buyers were starting to step in again, while sellers were no longer bringing pressure. They were holding their ground. They were leaving their offers where they were, but they weren't bringing offers down. That might have just changed here, so we're going to keep an eye on that. So once again, buyers are holding their ground here, but I'd like to see. I want to see us get through this offer here. There's 126 contracts, now 115. Okay, now we want to see these buyers start stepping in again, like they have. And actually, in just a minute, I'm gonna step away for the day. So what I think I'm gonna do here, I don't like how these sellers just stepped in right there. I actually don't like that at all. I can tell you things are not looking good for this trade right now. See, got in obviously very early. Really should have been waiting for this test at the VWAP. Okay, but at this point, although I am actually adding back in here. Okay. Okay. This was really where the trade should have been entered, so made a mistake on the first one. We're back in on another one here. And what we're looking for, we're going to start with our, let me actually go into here. Just putting out profit targets here before I head out. And what do we have here for the upper end? I'm actually going to come below the round. I'm going to come below the 49, considering how far away that is from this point. If I can get it anywhere near there, I would be absolutely thrilled. All right, so at this point, I am going to head out. All the orders that I need to be placed are in here. We're just going to kind of let it do its thing. If you guys run into any questions, just as always, text, email, call if you have it, or comment on any of the videos, and I will see it on there. All right, have a great day.